We are back again. I feel like it has been a very long time since I've been a part of these trips. Dom went and did one on his own. How rude. But we are going to the lake with our friends. The lake is at
Mount Swan Lake in West Virginia. So quite a hike today, about, I don't know, 200 miles or so, and about 4 hours of travel. So yes, we've got quite a trip ahead of us.
Yes, we just started the trip. I worked, Dom had off, lucky Jack. So I worked till about 2, and then we just left. Looks like we are going to get to our charging station in about 2.5 hours. Dom found a very cool restaurant close to it, within walking distance, right?
Yes, arguably within walking distance. We probably will not.
And we did think about setting up the bed in the back before we left, but I think we're just going to do it at the charging stations. Our friends do have a few campers that we can probably stay at, but we might just choose to stay in the car. But we are leaving with 93.
Yes, we left with 93% battery, and we are predicted to arrive. The car's yelling at me. We're predicted to arrive with 43% battery at the place we're stopping for dinner and to charge, and we could make it all the way to the lake with, I think it's a 24% battery, but we will not be doing that because we need to make sure that on the way home we can actually get to a supercharger. And if we're going to be arriving at the lake with only 23% or 24% and then trying to use battery for camp mode, it's not going to work because it will turn off at 20% battery. So that's why we're charging on the way down, so that when we get there we can camp mode properly, and then on the way back we can probably hit the same Cumberland supercharger again and actually make it home.
Yeah, the lake is kind of in the middle of nowhere. There is one sketchy gas station that everyone kind of gets all of their things from. But we are bringing a lot of our own stuff. Like, they already went shopping. I made some cupcakes, some bread for the first time, so we'll see how that turns out. But yeah.
All the essentials, we've got them.
Yeah. So we will take you along for the ride. We are here with an update. We just finished dinner. We have about an hour left until we are there. We stopped to charge.
Yes, and we had quite an experience. We were looking at our options on the way down, and we thought that there was a level 2 charger labeled on PlugShare that we could pop in and use while we walked over to get dinner. This level 2 charger was at a Martin's grocery store, and we stopped over there, and when Heather plugged in, because I had to run in and use the bathroom, she very quickly realized that it was not a free session as was described in PlugShare, which was kind of a bummer, but not something we ultimately needed because we had intended to supercharge anyways at the Cumberland Supercharger. So we ran over and got our food.
Yes, the food was amazing. It was Center Street
Collective. There you go.
Yes, I was almost there.
Yes.
And they are like known for their ramen, and every Friday they have an Indian special. So I love ramen. I got ramen. It was amazing. Spicy ramen, 10 out of 10. And then Dom got the Indian special, which I'm not quite sure what it was.
Yeah, lamb kadir or something like that.
Yes.
And it was okay. Wouldn't get it again, but
yes. I liked it. Dom is not a fan of peas, and there's peas in there.
well, that wasn't why it was bad. But yes. Well, it wasn't bad. It was good enough.
Yeah, we've been very spoiled.
Yeah, we've had better Indian food back home. So.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, then we went over to the Cumberland Supercharger, which was still an experience.
Yeah, that place, that town, just gave Dom a red face of anger.
It was too small and too busy, and it was like somebody gave a city planner a piece of sidewalk chalk to do it or something, because everything was crammed and done wrong, in my opinion.
There was like a circle, but it was like a square but with a triangle, and like you had to really go around and around and around.
Yes, like 4 right turns to
Yeah.
make the actual right turn, or I guess 3 right turns.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But anyways, we got over to the supercharger. It's 4 stall, 250 kilowatt chargers. All 4 were, well, 3 were in use, and then we were the 4th. So we were pulling in only like 60 to 70 kilowatt hours. And we charged all the way up to 85%, I believe.
Yeah, we had it set to go to 95, but we finished our meal by then. And there were 2 people waiting, so we hopped off and got our second half of the trip started.
Yeah, and the reason we charged up so much is because we still have another, we're going to arrive with 63% battery down to the lake, but as we mentioned, we might be sleeping in the car, and up the lake it can be pretty cold overnight.
Yeah, the high this weekend is like 70, so it's probably going to be in the 40s at night.
Yeah, which will use probably 2% of battery per hour, so we figure probably about 20% per night. And if we're staying for 2 nights, ultimately we wanted to just make sure that we had enough to get back to a supercharger, that one if necessary, or hopefully we can make it a little bit further, because we won't use so much battery. But that's where we ended up, and now we're on our way.
Yeah, I forget that as it gets colder, our battery's gonna drain a little bit. I keep forgetting that.
Yes.
We've been really spoiled with summer and the warmth and all of that. So
Yes, there is quite an impact on the battery when it's cold outside, which is unfortunate, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You learn to live with it.
yeah, I mean, on the way home, we're actually gonna be like charging our battery and gaining percent, right?
Yeah, when we come back off Mount Storm Mountain, we'll be decreasing in elevation a considerable amount, and so that will recharge the battery. And so comparative, if you're looking just from the supercharger to where we're headed, it's about 20% battery, versus the return trip will be only about 6% battery.
That's wild.
So it's predicted, yeah, because of all that regen that's happening. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see if that happens.
Yeah, I hope it does. That would be really exciting. But if I'm driving, I don't know if it would.
Yes, you can't be going 80 down the hill. That won't be working.
But that's what makes it so fun. So yeah, we.
Yes.
I think it would be fun, but I get why speed limits are there.
Yes.
Understandable.
Yes.
But yeah, so we will show you then our weekend at the lake.
Oh, one more thing. We didn't set up
Oh, yes,
the
we
bed.
didn't set up the bed.
And not because it was busy, which probably would have prevented us from doing it anyways.
Or
but
because it was a sketchy area.
wow, that too. The supercharging was on basically a hill, so it was a 10-degree incline. I got my phone out, yes, to be exact. And while I was eating, I hardly had the core strength to sit upright. So what I'm getting at is if you can avoid the Cumberland, Maryland supercharger at the Sheets there.
Or just that area in general. But it's definitely, it was so strange because it was like sketchy area. And then we were like, Dom was like nervous to walk to pick up the food. And in that area where the food was, that whole street was just blocked off. People were sitting out in the middle of the street eating.
Yeah, it was one really good road.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the town
and you would have never guessed that it was bad.
Not a great spot. So.
But yeah, always an experience.
Yes, we made it. That's the important thing.
Yeah, and we're excited to relax and hang out by the lake. So we'll catch you guys later then.
So we arrived with 63% battery, and we immediately started our Pringles Tournament of Champions for 2024.
Yes, we did it in 2022. We had very interesting flavors this time. Last time were kind of the OGs like sour cream, barbecue, pizza. I believe that wavy barbecue.
Yeah, loaded wavy barbecue, I think.
Loaded wavy barbecue. This time it was elote, and there was a chili cheese dog that also ranked really high, though probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, somehow it ranked second overall, but I would recommend anyone that I know to steer clear of it, and anyone that I don't know to steer clear of it, because it was a horrific taste.
Yeah, and what you see here is pretty much what we did. We just hung out with them, had great food, really just kind of hung together and hung out.
Yeah, it was really nice. The temperature was a lot warmer than we expected. We referenced that it might be a little colder up on the lake, but this weekend that we were there was absolutely beautiful.
We actually got in the water.
Yeah, we were enjoying
some
lunch by the water, essentially, hanging out right in, which was great. And yeah, we just had a really good time overall.
Yeah, though the nights did get very cold.
Yeah, it was about definitely in the 40s, maybe even the 30s. And because of that, our camp mode, we ended up, I didn't look at it by night, but again, we arrived with 63% battery. And over the course of the 2 evenings, I think we ended up leaving with 45%. So, 18% across 2 nights, 9% per night. And, we were getting probably 7 or 8 hours of sleep, give or take. It's not like we were only in there for a few hours, so.
Yeah, actually Saturday we woke up really late. It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, really late.
For us.
Compared to when
them.
we normally wake up and when you would wake up at the lake, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was a great trip.
Yeah, very fun time, and
great
the Pringles
food.
Tournament never disappoints.
Yeah, we definitely recommend it if you guys have family or a big gathering. It's fun seeing everyone's opinion. Hi guys, we are charging. Our trip is done. Not done. Our weekend is over. We're still about 2.5 hours from home.
Mm-hmm.
We had a fun weekend. We did not record a lot just because we just didn't have our phones.
Yes, we were unplugged and connected.
Yes, we reenacted our Pringles tournament from 2022 with some very interesting flavors. Never heard of them before. like elote and chili cheese dog.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was disgusting.
We did say they were good flavors. We just had to rank them. And then last night we had an interesting event. We were all sitting by the campfire and heard this big old something behind us. Sounded like a human walking, but maybe even bigger than that. Turns out it was not a human. We think it's a bear.
It was very likely a bear.
Yes. And so we hightailed it out, and then it sounded like it was going in the same direction as us. So we jumped into the car and proceeded to knock it out.
That was the end of the night,
Yes.
for everyone around the campfire.
And that was fine. Slept amazing in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, best sleep I think so far for me in the car.
Yes, it was plenty dark in the area, which
Mhm.
is
Yeah, we could see the stars, the sunroof, which
Yeah.
is wild. Great food, like amazing food. Didn't take any videos, but trust us, it was good. And coming down the mountain, we got a little bit of battery back, right?
So we're sitting here at the Lavale supercharger, which is very close to the Cumberland supercharger, to be honest. It's an 8-stall, 150 kilowatt hour charger or supercharging station, and actually it has 2 pull-ins, which I think is really cool, especially for people who are towing things. But yeah, on the way back here, we went from, I think we left there with 45% battery or something like that. And as we were going down the hill, we regened quite a bit. And so our last trip, we averaged 156 kilowatt hours per mile, or excuse me, 156 watt hours per mile, which is insanely good and something you could only get if you're traveling downhill compared to the drive to the mountain or the lake was 239 watt hours per mile, which is obviously a large increase. So yeah, we're getting charged up to 80% now, which is more than enough to get us home. We're predicted to get back home with probably 40, well, when it'll be done, it'll be 43% battery, but we just want to make sure that we have enough for all the things we need to do later today, which is hopefully nothing.
Hopefully nothing.
But you never know.
You never know. And then for work tomorrow, so might as well take advantage, because what else are we going to do?
Yeah, and we're still using our free supercharging miles, so gotta use them or lose them.
Yes, which is great. So I did finish a book while we were there in the downtime, which was cool. And yeah, 10 out of 10. Great trip.
Great weekend, for sure.
So, all right. Well, on that note, our charge is complete, and we will probably update you when we get home and input some stats. Toodle-doos. Hi guys, we made it back home. Trip was good, drive was good, I slept.
You did?
A lot.
Quite a bit.
Yep, that's what happens when you get too scared of a bear and can't sleep. Got home with 24%, which is way less than what was expected. I think it said 43%. So it's a good thing that we, did stay and charge up to 80.
Yeah, there were other superchargers along the way that we could have stopped at if we needed to, but we think what happened was because we had just come off the hill and we're averaging 156 watt hours per mile. Yeah, it was using that estimation for the remainder of our trip, and so very quickly when we were then traveling through the mountainous area, pulling 270 or 290 watt hours per mile, we lost basically 20% of the battery, basically because it was recalibrating. So
yeah, at one point I think it got down to even 18%.
Yes, and then it leveled itself out. So
yeah, always better to be safer. If you have the time to supercharge a little bit longer, go for it. No one's waiting and everything.
Yeah, but like I said, there's a couple others we could have stopped at if we needed to, but thankfully we didn't have to, and we can be done and be home.
Yeah, now we have no plans for the day, so Thanks for joining us on our trip. See you next time. Bye.